His first signing day class. It is a bit smaller, just a little bit smaller in numbers than you would normally have. But remember, he only got the job a couple weeks before signing day. There's a couple athletes up at the top, and Chris Long and Tyreme Powell, who are important guys. Also some offensive linemen. You see a quarterback they're bringing in. A lot of decent talent that Rutgers is bringing in with a guy who, again, only had a couple weeks to get ready for this. And Rutgers head coach Greg Schiano joining us now on our signing day special. Greg, when you and I talked back in December, you said the first signing day was hard but fun. So what's the best way to describe what the last 6 weeks have been like?
Well, it's been busy. I mean, we've been all over the place. The staff grew. The one thing I told you, 6 weeks ago is that we did it basically with a three-man staff. Well, since then, we've hired a lot of coaches and some support staff, and really, recruiting is so much of future guys as much as this signing class. So we've been able to really start to build the bridge now to the 21, 22, and 23 classes, which is really the key in building this program, is relationships in the same areas year after year.
How important will transfers be to you in the coming year or two?
Well, I think with the advent of the transfer portal, it's kind of an unknown, and I think you really need to be careful. What our approach has been is there needs to be, not only does he need to be a guy that you really feel comfortable with from an athletic standpoint, but they have to fit your culture, because oftentimes they don't have a lot of time left in their career, eligibility-wise. So you're not going to have the same opportunity you have to mold them to your culture. So I think you really need to know who you're getting, and by that I mean what kind of character, what kind of person are they, because it's tempting, right? I mean, you get to see guys on college film, and there's no guesswork of the projection to the college game. Oftentimes you even can see them in your league, and it's much easier to do a pure evaluation that way, but it's really got to fit to be worth it.
Well, speaking of a guy in your league, you have already got some big ones. With Cruikshank specifically, what's it like seeing a guy who just 4 weeks ago returns a kick for a score in the Rose Bowl, now wearing your shade of red?
Well, we sure are blessed to have him. I know Aaron for a long time now, recruited him out of high school, and, I think he really needed to get home, and that's no knock against, obviously, Wisconsin, but he needed to get back to the New York, New Jersey area for several reasons, and we were kind of the beneficiary of that he's going to go to Rutgers and be part of our football program. So like I said, he's a dynamic player that can do a lot of things for us, and we're blessed to have him.
There has been talk recently of a push for a one-time transfer exemption where a player could play that next year without sitting out a season. What's your thought on that?
This is all so new. I don't know if we even all understand the ramifications of it. I think that from my standpoint, I just need to see what the rules are and then try to see how it best fits our university. And that's how I approach it. Again, we're figuring it out as we go, just like everybody else.
All right, looking ahead, spring ball is up next on your calendar. What's the most important thing that needs to happen for your team between now and then?
Well, I think it started, and that's our training in the strength and conditioning program. We'll start to get into some winter workouts with our team and really learning our culture, learning how we work, and getting ready for spring football. So that'll mean starting to introduce our offense, our defense, and our special teams to the guys. But more than anything is learning our culture and work ethic, because we can get the football taught, but if you don't get the other stuff, the foundation laid, it's not really going to matter.
Greg Schiano, Scarlet Knights head coach. Thanks for giving us some of your time today. We appreciate it.
Okay, thank you.
Rutgers' 7th year in the Big Ten, but it just feels different because that guy is back at the helm at Rutgers. And let's talk about some of the players he has. The all-time New Jersey state record for single-season receiving yards was broken by a guy named Chris Long, who's going to Piscataway.
Yeah, when you look at the top of this class, a lot of the players come from the state of New Jersey, and Chris Long is the top guy in the state. Was actually elevated to a 4-star by 24/7 after his senior season with all those records he broke, as you mentioned. So super athletic, Long can run, and those same skills may serve him well as a cornerback. He's listed as an athlete, was prolific on the offensive side of the ball, but we think he might be a corner for Greg Schiano and company, and a lockdown corner at that. with his fluidity and his ball skills. You see some of the clips here now on the defensive side of the ball. He could be an early contributor for them. He was a huge pickup for them, and big to keep him, too, through the coaching changes, because he had an opportunity to possibly look around at some other schools, but stuck with the Scarlet Knights.
They also signed Brian Spelt, an offensive lineman, who's a 3-star. You can see he's 6'3", 300 pounds, big, strong. I was impressed, really, with his feet. He's got really good sustain. You'll see him get on the block here and stay with it, keeping his feet, driving him downfield. That's really well done and has great effort. Here's another example of him, pass protection. Most high school guys will come in a little behind the pass protection just because they don't throw the ball quite as much in high school as they do. Here you see him running a little bit. You always want to see an offensive lineman run, pull on tape.
Elijah Mack, safety, 6 foot 185. You know, again, having players that you can keep in your program that are willing tackles that want to come down and deliver blows. A lot of times you don't see that at the high school level, guys wanting to wrap up, looking out, looking for contact, but he does an outstanding job. I like his range, being able to get from off the hash to the numbers and really being able to recognize and deliver blocks. It's a big part of the game. You've got to have guys that are willing to step in and make plays.
Tyreme Powell is a guy who was listed as an athlete. He decommitted from Virginia Tech to go to Rutgers. He was the Hokies' highest-ranked commit. This guy literally played just about everything in high school. He was a quarterback, maybe a tight end, wide receiver, safety, linebacker. Schiano told us back on the first signing day, the position that Powell plays will depend on how much weight he is able to add once he gets into the Scarlet Knights training program. He's the second highest-ranked commit that they are bringing in. But we also mentioned, and I talked about it with him, the transfers they're bringing in. Right now, they got 6 transfers, all coming there from big-name schools like Michigan, Wisconsin, Baylor, Boston College, etc. And, you know, Howard, as I was talking to him, I could see you nodding your head about the Aaron Cruikshank. Like, he didn't jump in 2 feet and saying, we're definitely going after transfers for the first year or two, but where it fits, like an Aaron Cruikshank, I mean, they already had a relationship.
Yeah, and that's part of it, and I think this is what we're going to continue to see. And when you talk about the transfer portal, particularly, you look at Rutgers, you talked about him being able to come home, Schiano. This is what's going to happen with a lot of players as well that have gone off, that see that it did not, maybe not work out the way they wanted to, have an opportunity to come back closer to home, to be around family, be around friends. And when you look at what they're doing there now, it looks like they're going to be able to benefit from the transfer portal with young men that want to come back.
You know, we talked about this in the green room. What came to my mind with this is when a recruit tells you he's going somewhere else, you know, that's not really fun to hear. We can ask some of the guys that are here with us today how hard it is to say no. Well, when you get no, now you're going to probably be just as nice as if you got a yes, because as Howard has said, you've been saying this for over a year, that those relationships are strong, and now with the transfer portal, those strong relationships, they have an impact in college football.
Well, and I think you don't have to go too far. You don't have to go out of the conference even to see what an impact transfers can have because of what happened at Illinois this past year. They get an infusion of talent from transfers. They end up making a bowl game. A big part of that was bringing in a quarterback with some experience in Brandon Peters. Now Rutgers gets that with Peyton Powell, and I think you can use that as a model to see how transfers can immediately affect a team that needs an infusion of talent.